Hey guys, what is up? Let me spin it for you. All right, there we go. I'm gonna take my glasses off to say this because this is important. And I don't know if I said this before. By the way, it's your girl Tally. I don't know if I said this before, but what I'm seeing is, and what's becoming abundantly clear to me, is that the decisions that people are making, no matter what they are, it's just a reflection of where they are at. And I used to think that people are just stuck in unfavorable places or positions and they just have to make certain decisions. But if they would just get the knowledge that things would change for them. And then come to find out, a lot of us, a lot of y'all, all of us are just choosing our circumstances. And we could even have the right knowledge. We could know that there's better out there. We could know that there's more. We could know that if we just worked hard enough that we could have something different. But so many of us are so complacent with where we're at. And complacency, that actually still means that you just don't want to put in the work to get different results. So many people are just so complacent with where they are at. They just feel like it's too hard. Any kind of change would just be too hard at wherever point they are, so they're just going to accept where they are. And that, my friend, is where mediocrity lives. Let me get a drink. Now, I'm very heartbroken by this. I am very heartbroken by this because the heart that I have is a heart that really did assume. I was naive. I assumed that people want better for themselves. Maybe it's because that was always in me since I was a little girl. Since I was a little girl, it was always in me to want better for me. And I knew that no matter the situation I'm in currently, no matter how it looks for me currently, that one day an opportunity would come for me to change whatever it is I wanted to change. And I was 100% correct about that. So I really thought that everybody felt those same things for themselves. And again, the truth that I'm discovering is that's not true. The truth is, a lot of people do a lot of talking. A lot of people do a lot of talking about what they want and the things that they want. And they think they mean it. You may think you mean it. But the truth of the matter is, unless you're putting in the work for it, you don't really mean it. So imagine you talking to somebody and they're complaining about how bad their life is or how bad a certain situation in their life is. And you're telling them the truth about it. You know me, I've always been a truth teller. I've always been someone who, no matter if you're going to get angry at me, no matter if you're ready to hear it or not, that's something I still need to work on because some people are not ready to hear the truth, but I be telling the truth anyway. And when that happens, you tell them the truth. They're like, oh yeah, you know, they take it in, they may take it in, they may not. And they're like, okay, whatever. Or they start making excuses for the situation. Guys, here's a side note from all of this. Part of the reason, and you hear a lot of people say that in different ways, but part of the reason that you're able to make it, or I'm able to make it out of certain circumstances, certain situations, is because I don't try to defend it. Oh, like, you know what I'm saying? Someone tells me something about a situation I've been through, and then they tell me the truth, like, oh yeah, you were operating out of desperation, you didn't have no self-control. I didn't try to make an excuse for why I didn't have that self-control, or why I didn't operate from my high self, or why I was operating from insecurity. I didn't try to make up excuse, but it's like we get defensive about the things that we're not even supposed to be defensive about. Why are you defending your lower self? Why are you defending your bad habits? Why are you defending something that you're trying to get rid of? You're trying to change this thing about you, but when somebody confronts you about it, you're trying to make excuses for it. No, don't make excuses for the things that you're trying to get off your back. Don't make excuses for the things that are holding you back from where you want to be in life. Don't make excuses for it, because now you're defending the very same thing that you're trying to get rid of. That's stopping you from being your better self. So that's a sidebar right there. So when you confront somebody about it, they may take it in, they may defend that thing that's holding them back. And then ultimately, by the end of the conversation, what we really realize is they have not done anything. They do not want to actually do anything to try to change. That's the heartbreaking part. That's the part that was very shocking to me. It was very shocking to me to realize that. Like, it's a shame. But at the end of the day, everybody has their path. Everybody's gonna answer for what they've done. Everybody, they're living their own life, so you have to be content with your own life. And if you're happy with the way you live, I guess that's the most important part about it. Just be happy. If you can say that you're happy with the way you live your life, okay. But personally, there's some people in this world who want to max out. There's some people who want to max out, and when I say max out, I mean you want to go hard and do everything you can to reach your fullest potential. You want to touch different levels, different heights. You want to use every gift that God has given you. You want to at least explore every gift that God has given you. And you want to try to use it. You don't want to make excuses for your bad habits. You want to come up out of them. You want to get through them. You want to come over them. So even if you're confronted about that, you're going to be like, yeah, I know. You're right. What steps can I take to move past this? Because this is not working out for me anymore. And the last thing I want to do is allow this to hold me back and put me in regret later on for me not trying hard enough to overcome. So you got to ask yourself, do you really want to overcome? Do you really want to live a better life? Because the truth of the matter is, some of us don't. Some of us are okay with where we're at. The only danger in that is this world is moving forward. So where you think you could choose to, okay, I'll just stay here. You may think you're staying here, or you're staying stagnant, or you're going to be in this position all your life. And you might find yourself going backwards. Because if you're not pushing forth, if you're not trying to push forth and get better, which as a human being, I feel like that's what we were called to. We're called to push forward and get better. Then I feel like there's gonna be so many things that's gonna try to drag you back. Because even as someone who's trying to push forward, there's so many things still on a daily basis that tries to drag you back. Imagine if you're standing in one spot, how easy it is for you to fall into those things, because you're not doing anything. You're not monopolizing your time with things that are adding to you and investing in you and growing you. If you're not growing on the regular, then of course, if you're being stagnant, there's certain things that you're probably indulging in because you're so bored, or you have nothing else to do. You're so idle. So of course, there's going to be a lot of things just trying to pull you backwards, because you have time for it. A lot of us who made it out of old things, it wasn't just only we wanted to make it out of those old things. It's because we just don't have time for it right now. We have things that we're looking forward in the future. This is why I made that video of you have to see your future, because just wanting to get out of those things alone, it's not going to be the only things that get you out of those things. And when I'm saying things, I mean the things that hold you back. Things currently in your life, bad habits, whatever it is. It may not even be a bad habit. It just may be something that is holding you back. It may have been a good thing at one point or another, but it's just at this point in your life, you have come to see that is holding you back. So it's not only wanting to part ways with those things that's going to keep you from it. It's actually looking toward your future and saying, okay, the person that I have to be to have this future of mine that I say that I want doesn't have time. I just don't have time for it. I just don't have time for it. I just don't have time for it. When I used to smoke a lot of weed, I couldn't imagine. Not only do I not want to smoke weed, and the smell of it kind of turns my stomach nowadays. I'm sorry, guys. That is a blessing from a former weed head who used to smoke all day, every day, and now I'm telling you that the smell of it kind of turns my stomach a little bit. That's so much of a change right there. But what I'm saying is, I couldn't imagine smoking weed. I don't want to smoke weed, but I couldn't imagine smoking weed how I used to smoke weed. I have to get up at 3:30 to 4:30. On the weekdays, I'm up in between, anywhere between 3:30 and 4:30, I'm up, because I have to hit the gym before work. That's a non-negotiable for me. I got to hit the gym. And I don't want to hit it in the afternoon, because I want my little 2 hours before I have to go to sleep again and wake up and do it all over again. I want to have my little 2 hours. So, I hit it in the morning. Imagine me as a weed smoker having to wake up at 3:30 to 4:30 in the morning. Just like, let me say, if you eat before you go to bed, especially if you eat something with high sugar before you go to bed, if you drink alcohol before you go to bed, if you smoke weed before you go to bed, if you take some Benadryl or some cough medication, and you don't, before you go to bed, and it doesn't wear off, all 4 of those things, you're going to wake up groggy. You're going to wake up feeling terrible. Sometimes it doesn't even matter if you got your 7 to 8 hours of sleep. You're still gonna wake up feeling terrible. And that's something, if you eat something with high sugar in it a lot, or you eat just a lot before you go to sleep, if you drink alcohol, if you smoke weed, or like cough medication, you're going to wake up groggy. So how do I expect to stay on top of everything that I want to stay on top of? And if I was a weed smoker right now, I just don't got time for it. That's my example. That's what I'm trying to say. I just don't have time for it. A bad relationship. How am I supposed to work on me? Make sure I'm right. Make sure I'm fit physically, mentally, spiritually. Make sure I'm doing my best at work. Putting in all the work and ethic that I'm trying to put in. How would I make sure that I am up to par on every single area of my life? Spending time with the Lord, spending time in my Bible. Okay, right now I haven't been reading my Bible, but I've been reading my devotionals with a Bible script. That's better than some of y'all, because at least I get in at least one verse a day. Some of y'all don't get in no verses a day, and I've been consistent with getting in at least one verse a day, and then I meditate on it, because they have, a passage on what the verse means and everything. So yeah, but we still need to get in our Bible. That's no excuse again. But what I'm saying is, how am I supposed to stay up on all of that and make sure I'm up to par if I'm in a bad relationship? There's certain things, as I'm saying, that not only you don't want it for yourself, but as you are pushing forward for your future, you just don't have time for it. You don't have time to be drunk every night no more. You don't have time for a bad relationship. You don't have time to smoke weed. You don't have time for bad friends. You just don't have time because of what you're working towards. And that is one of the benefits. That is one of the benefits, and there's so many, but as one of the benefits of being the type of person who pushes forward and doesn't remain complacent with what it is. They look for things in their life where they can improve. Someone who wants to improve, someone who is personal development oriented. That's the difference. They don't get dragged back to the past bad habits, past pleasures, past things that do nothing to make them better, because they just don't have time for it. Not 50% plus, they just don't have time for it anymore. So you just got to decide what you want to be, who you want to be. I'm remembering a song, sorry. Yes, tell me who you want to be. And it shows. You don't have to even tell me. You don't even have to tell me. That's another thing I've been realizing. You don't have to tell nobody. It's gonna show. It may take a little bit to show, but it's gonna show. Anybody can tell you. If someone followed you around in your daily life, would they be able to tell that you are serious about your goals? That's what you have to ask for yourself. And with your integrity, you gotta say, you should know. You should know. All right? If someone have followed you around, could they tell how serious you are about your future and your goals? Be honest with yourself. Sometimes I want someone to follow me around, because sometimes I feel like people be thinking I'm playing. Sometimes I feel like people be thinking like I'm not about what I be talking about. Sometimes I want somebody to follow me around so I could show them that I'm really about it. But at the same time, I'll be like, no, because that comes from me always feeling like I need to prove myself to people, and I don't. I don't need to prove myself to anybody. If someone doesn't believe that I'm really about what I be saying and doing, oh well, that's on them. So I don't need to prove myself. But sometimes I do wish I could, you know what I'm saying? But that's all I have for you guys. My nose is always running. When I go jogging, my nose is running. In the morning, it's running. Okay, I'll see y'all guys soon. I'll talk to you later. Bye.